Content warning, y'all. We have lots of fun making this podcast, but remember, we watch a lot of R-rated films, use language that reflects that, and joke about heavy topics to create levity around these themes. If that doesn't feel safe or could be triggering, please take care of yourself. We want you to have fun listening too. This also means we might not be suitable for children. Oh yeah, and we spoil the end of all the movies we pod about. Thanks for listening.
Let's start again. Hello. After these messages, here we are.
There were no messages, but still here we are. We took a break.
We were on a break.
I love your Seinfeld does Ross.
Thank you.
We were on a break.
We were on a break.
What's with all the breaks?
What's the deal with break?
So we watched a movie last night called Zero Effect.
I heard zero effect. If that's correct, press 1. To re-record, press 2.
I wrote down Bill Pullman, yay, Ben Stiller, ugh. I'm not a fan of, and this is no offense to Ben Stiller. I'm just not a fan of anything he does. I'm fine if he's I don't know, he always comes across, and maybe this is just, I don't know, but he always comes across as being so shitty. He just always seems like every character he plays has no patience for anyone, has no, seemingly, no tolerance, nothing,
well, and
lies a lot, and just...
In Mystery Men, he plays...
Yeah.
What's he called?
He doesn't have a name.
Rage Man or something?
I can't remember it. I think in the end he might pick one, but the whole movie is him trying to pick a name. I like him in Mystery Men because he sucks at everything. Right. He just can't his whole thing is that he's, full of rage and he can't even muster that up, and it's funny to me.
I think he's fine.
I think he's fine, but it's just I feel a lot of times the roles that he's in are shitty people.
Yeah.
And so I just, a lot of times
it's not very sympathetic ever.
Yeah, but also his brand of comedy is usually just rooted in embarrassment, which
your favorite.
I cannot. I literally cannot. I've literally had to get up and leave a room because of movies he's in, because
really?
I literally can't even be in the same room.
There's a pretty severe lack of information problem here, and he won't say much.
What's wrong with these people?
You want to just start over?
Yeah, no, seriously.
I heard zero effect.
Yeah. I do.
If that's correct,
press 1.
Keep speaking.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite get that. Hello, Gene.
Bill Pullman plays Daryl Zero, who is a private detective, who's
the world's best.
Yeah, the world's best.
Did you see that the tagline was the world's most private detective?
No,
which is pretty funny.
That's kind of funny. But he's a recluse. He doesn't meet with clients. He does all this stuff. It's really funny where he'll put on ridiculous disguises.
Yeah, that's.
But it's
one of the better bits of the movie.
All the disguises are all just him with facial hair.
Yeah, and different glasses.
And that's it. Also, yeah. I like that when he's not in character, like he's not following a client or he's like not doing, he has like curly hair, which is like clearly his hair's just been curled just in the front. Like he does not.
Oh,
like,
I just assumed it was like humidity.
I think it's like implying that like he didn't style his hair. Like I don't know why. It's weird.
Right.
I don't understand, but it was like very clearly if he
Yeah,
didn't.
every disguise involves his hair being combed back real
Yeah,
nice
yeah.
and neat. And
yeah,
then,
yeah. And then when he's not in disguise, he just has
It's, like,
curly,
floppy.
magically curly hair. And I'm like, no, why did you have to?
No, he
It's so
doesn't.
weird.
He had curly hair in one movie while you were sleeping.
And then Ben Stiller, who I'm a big fan of,
Yep.
plays his Guy Friday or whatever, who just helps them with cases.
His Watson.
Which really, which really is.
Also, I like that they early on when you start get the narration, the voiceover, the narration from Zero, and he was like, "My legal assistant has been reluctant to do so," which is the whole thing that Watson does is document Sherlock Holmes's cases and publishes them.
Yeah, like Ben Stiller again, I don't understand the appeal of Ben Stiller only because he always plays like an asshole. He always plays someone that's like not patient or anything like that. Any humor is based in like embarrassment. Like I don't enjoy.
I liked him in this movie, although his character you
yeah,
don't really
he was
give a
okay.
shit about.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
Like-
he was fine in this movie because I feel like this was before. Like I feel like really once he did like Meet the Parents, which was like 2000. So like right after this, he did that shit. After he did that, it was just like embarrassment. Like that whole movie is just like him lying and then embarrassment, and it's
I see.
I hate it.
he
And
write
once
those?
I don't know if he wrote those, but they were such a hit that like that sort of shit just like.
See, and I confused those with the one that we watched with him and Patricia Arquette.
Flirting with Disaster.
Yes.
Yeah. See, I don't mind him in that either. But again, he's not playing it.
No, he's not
I
a
don't feel-
likable character,
yeah.
really. I mean, he seems...
He's never a likable character. But anyway, he's in this, and I think the only thing I really enjoyed was the fact that Bull Pullman, Bill Pullman always. Every time he would make him fly out to see him, and then he'd immediately be like, "Okay, go back."
Right.
And he just kept making him fly on a plane to and from.
Right.
That was the funny bit
Yeah.
to me. That was pretty ridiculous.
I didn't care anything about his private life, his
No,
relationship.
see, I hate. Again, we've talked about this. I think
Angela Featherstone.
we've talked about this on previous podcasts. I don't know which ones. Recurring theme that I hate / don't like relate to at all is like a person has a job and their
Rude.
their partner / spouse is like, I can't believe how much time you dedicate to your work. I know that it's supplying our entire lifestyle, but can't you just quit and do anything
And
else?
I totally knew this about you when we started
Exactly.
dating.
And I'm like, I don't care. I literally don't care. I mean, maybe it's because I'm poor, and like when you're poor, like everyone's whole life is just working. Like not working and spending time with your family is like legitimately like a rich person's luxury. So like if you're complaining that your partner isn't spending time with you, I'm like, well, if they can, that means you're rich. So I don't fucking give a shit about your problems. But yeah, I don't know what white dudes obsession with like redoing Sherlock Holmes is.
You do, though. You stated it. It's that he's an asshole, yet brilliant.
Okay.
Let me do credits real quick.
Do it.
We already have mentioned Bill Pullman as the titular Zero.
Bull Pillman, I think is what.
Yep. Ben Stiller plays Steve Arlo. We have Kim Dickens as Gloria Sullivan. Ryan O'Neal
Yeah.
as George Stark. Angela Featherbottom plays, who cares? I wrote down Matt O'Toole, who plays. He's only in 2 scenes, but the character is integral to the fucking plot. Craig and Vincent.
Oh, yeah.
But he's only in 2 scenes.
Yeah.
Basically. I think literally only 2. The one where she's pushing him in the wheelchair, and then the flashback.
Yeah.
Oh, directed by Jake Kasdan,
son of
Lawrence.
Yeah. Yeah, this movie was weird. This was a weird movie. I didn't dislike it. I'm not going to say I disliked it. But it felt like so little was there. That sounds like it sucks. That's not what I mean. It's just like, I was expecting, I guess this is something that I like kind of miss about like 90s movies, is that you didn't have to have 17 subplots in order to keep anyone interested in the main plot. Like nowadays,
But this plot is very convoluted.
Kind
as
of,
far as, like,
but I feel like
case.
it takes a while to kind of get there. I mean, I kind of guessed it pretty quickly, but
okay.
I guessed it pretty quickly. No, I mean, like, I was like, okay, well, because they were like, oh, we don't know what, and I was like, oh, it has to be her. Like, she has to be the thing in the hotel room that was taken. And so I didn't say that out loud because I was like, I don't know how that has anything to do with it. I will say this. So the plot is basically like Daryl Zero is a private detective, and he takes the case of someone who says that someone stole his safety deposit key and is blackmailing him for money for something, but he's like not totally being upfront about it. So they take the case, and Daryl, like, solves stuff. First of all, like, he figures stuff out because he's such a genius. The funny thing, like, Daryl finds his keys. Like, no one actually stole the guy's keys. They were just in his couch for a year. Because this has been going on for, I guess, a year or something, or like a long time. But I was like, what a rich person thing. Like, you lose your keys and you don't even think to look in your couch. I was like, yeah, he's rich.
Right.
Like, I buy that. Because, like, if I lose any, like, I sometimes just go through cushions just to see if I've lost something that I don't even know if I've lost.
Oh,
because, and I find things that way. I'm like, this is where that hair tie went.
Mm-hmm.
I like when I was younger, this was fascinating to me. Like, I had this friend that I grew up being friends with who we had nothing in common, and we are no longer friends.
That's what friends are for.
I used to stay the night at her house, and it was like their house was like,
oh yeah,
their house was like the Wild West. Like, her mom would come home. This is
Did
when
you feel threatened for your life?
I mean, pretty much. Her mom would come home from work, and it was like
for your life.
And she would literally just go into her room and bolt lock her bedroom door, and you could not access her for like the next 12 hours.
Seems safe.
Right, exactly. And so we would just like food, like anything we needed, we were on our own. Like, we couldn't, like, she didn't.
Everyone for themselves.
Basically, unless she bought food for dinner, which she most of the time never did. We were just like hungry and didn't. Yeah, it was really. So we one time they had these couches, and we went through and we found some change in them. So we just started going like ape shit, and we like lifted the couches up and we like dug through, and we found like $3 in change.
Damn.
And we were able to, and this was like in the 90s, like late 90s, early aughts. So we were able to like.
Did you get one of those packs of like tacos and burritos from Taco Bell?
No, we would go to Wendy's. We got ourselves like 2 junior bacon cheeseburgers, which were my favorite because they're on the $1 menu, so they're like $1. Yeah, they're really good. So we would get 2 junior bacon cheeseburgers and like a fry or something like that. And we would share it. Yeah. So yeah, like so it was good. Yeah, we did that. But like the fact that you were able, I was like, my family doesn't have enough money to lose that much money in a couch. Like, we're poor enough that if we dropped a quarter into the sofa, we would know we were missing a quarter.
Right.
And where to find it. Like, there was no, like, and there were, like, fucking quarters and shit in there. Like a ton of quarters.
Silver dollars, gold doubloons.
So, like, it's just, like, and it wasn't
Cougarants.
it wasn't like they weren't poor. It's just like there was even a difference in how poor my family was from her family.
Right. Different flavor of
yeah,
poor.
different flavor of poor. Yeah.
Krugerants. That's how it's said. Anyway.
So yeah. Anyway.
I'm pretty sure I saw this movie in the theater.
What? Oh, I didn't know you'd seen it before.
Yeah. It made an impression. Yeah.
I can see that.
Well, this is one of my suggestions for us to watch.
Yeah.
Just full disclosure. Take ownership over it.
I mean, to be fair, you said, let's watch Zero Effect. And I said, what's that about? And you said, well, it's got Bill Pullman. And I was like, oh, I'm in. And you were like, it's got. And I'm like, no, I'm in. You don't need to. I don't care.
Well, but I wanted you to be forewarned that Ben Stiller was involved.
Yeah. I was like, okay, well. Bull Pillman's in it.
This is Jake Kasdan's first movie. He wrote it and directed.
Oh, God. No, go ahead.
Which, for, first outing, not bad, I thought.
No, yeah.
But, yeah, it's got some... First of all, as pointed out by a review that I watched this morning, the pacing dramatically changes once the sort of love story starts.
Yeah.
And it just is a different movie, like, visually and rhythmically and all that.
Again, IMDb trivia. Like, this movie's IMDb trivia I've never seen. Like, it feels like Daryl Zero wrote all of the trivia for this. I just wanted to, like, anyway, whatever. I'm just going to read out this IMDb trivia. When he's first started thinking about who would play his two leads, Jake Kasdan looked specifically at a few key moments in the script. Quote, "Who's the actor who's going to make all these moments unreal?" Unquote. "You'd be a fool to think he didn't nail both." That's not trivia about the movie at fucking all. That's like, there's another one that I have to read it because this one. So at the, like, towards the end of the movie, like, it's got Ryan O'Neal in it, and he has
he's the client.
He's the client / the bad guy, sort of. Which is interesting. And I appreciate that. I appreciated that it was like, oh, this woman accused me of rape and she was a liar and stuff. And they were like, well, he's a rapist. And I was like, oh, huh.
Yeah,
cool.
I
liked that. I was like, oh, they don't believe that he's innocent. They think he's a piece of shit.
Fuck. When it gets revealed or whatever that the accusation is rape.
Yeah.
And that's why he's being blackmailed or
right.
whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, God damn it. Why is the whole thing got to be
a woman
contingent on a woman? Yeah, right. But then it's clear that
they just are like, oh, he's a rapist piece of shit. Oh, we get it. You're a horrible person. And I was like, oh, okay.
Right.
And it's like he's like a powerful, but also the way that they went about that scene, I appreciated it because he says something that, like, almost admits to it. He says like, what would you do if someone was, like, telling lies about you or something, like, or if someone, like, was lying about you or something like that? And Ben Stiller says, this has never happened, so
it's
I don't.
It's never come up.
Yeah, he's like, it's never come up. I wouldn't know what to do. And he said, what if someone had something that they were holding over your head that they could use to destroy you with?
LOL.
Or something like that. And he was like, the way he said it was like, what if they had proof? And I was like, oh, he just admitted. I was like, oh, he
admitted.
he just said he did it. Like, and I was like, oh, and then but I was like, oh, they're probably going to still be like, who knows? We can't tell. But no, they were just like, oh, he's a rapist and a horrible person. And I was like,
and killer.
Yeah. I was like, oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. I'm good.
Yeah.
So, like, it was kind of a relief.
Kudos. Yeah, it really was for me.
But.
And the whole speech he does with, when he quits, and he was like, what? We're going to keep defending these people?
Yeah.
And I'm sick and tired of working for the Starks of the world. The lowest scum of the earth, buying their way out of their own messes.
These people are victims of plots and they need our help.
This guy is a murderer at large who needs our help.
Hey, their business equals their business. We're not involved. It has nothing to do with us.
You believe that?
Yeah, we're the good guys.
What are you talking about? There aren't any good guys. You realize that, don't you? I mean, you realize there aren't evil guys and innocent guys. It's just a bunch of guys.
Yeah. But towards the end, like, the climax of the movie is kind of anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Because, like, Ryan O'Neal, he's being blackmailed, and he has all of these elaborate drops. Like, basically, the person is like, we have proof that you're a piece of shit, and we'll use it against you if you don't deliver money. But the way that they deliver the money, like, it's never the same place.
Right.
And they basically, like he has a beeper, and they just beep him with, like different locations to go to.
Yeah, he's got to go through all these hoops.
Yeah, these extremely
puzzles,
elaborate
basically.
things. And then he has to drop the money somewhere, and then the person comes and gets it. So, like, it's never the same place. It's always... So, like, the final drop, he's planning to, like, kill the person, I think.
Uh-huh. Right.
That's at least implied.
Right.
But when he sees them, he has a heart attack because he, like, recognizes who it is. But
I know
the
the one you're
trivia...
gonna do.
Okay, so this is the IMDb trivia about that. O'Neal faked that heart attack roughly 20 different times so they could film it at different speeds. So you mean he acted?
Yeah, he faked it.
He faked that heart attack more than once. Like, I don't understand how this is not fucking trivia.
No.
This is
You mean on a movie they did multiple shoots for one scene?
Like, it does.
Multiple takes of different speeds also? What are you talking about?
God.
And let me tell you, he nailed it. I don't know if you've ever seen someone have a heart attack in real time. I know I haven't, but I know that Ryan O'Neal nailed it.
Also, my favorite part is when they because, like, the person that's, so, you know, spoiler, or not spoiler, but, you know, trigger warning for talking about rape or whatever after the fact. But, like, so he supposedly, like, assaulted this woman, like, way back when. Mm-hmm. And I guess she got pregnant and she had a kid. And that's who is blackmailing him now. And the proof is...
The kid.
Yeah. The kid is, like... Because he had the woman who was like, I'm going to tell everybody that you're a piece of shit rapist. And he had her killed.
Right.
But he didn't know that she had a kid the whole time. And the person that he hired to kill her saw that there was a kid in the hotel. Like, he just walked in and, like, killed the woman. Then he realized that there was a kid in there. So he basically took the kid in and, like, kept the kid safe. Which is, I thought that was...
went to jail.
He went to jail, but, like, he didn't say anything about there being a kid. He hid the fact that there was a kid, and he essentially, like, kept her safe. Which I thought was a really interesting thing, because I feel like, one, that's not a thing that is attributed, like, men fearing for a child, especially bad men. It's not ever a plot point. So I was like, oh, that's kind of unique. So I appreciated that.
Especially in 1972.
Right. And the fact that
not yet such a thing as a a full-size mattress.
But he the fact that he like literally went to jail
Right to jail.
to protect this kid. Like I was like, oh, that's really
Yeah.
It was like an interesting, like he protected the kid and like all this stuff.
He took the kid, and as a result, he left lots of
yeah
fingerprints and whatnot
DNA
all over the
evidence.
crime scene.
Yeah, so they were able to like pin it on
was
him.
easy
And,
to,
yeah. So anyway, he so like this person was like thought that this guy was her dad like her whole life because she was just a baby when he found her.
Just a wee baby.
But like, yeah, like so she found out about all this stuff, and so she was like using all this stuff against the guy to get money. Which I mean, and it's weird because I'm like, I mean, why didn't you just like say, give me money or I'll tell everyone who I am.
Right.
But I guess their implication was that he would just have her killed.
Right.
And she had to like hide her identity. So when he sees that she's like, when he goes to the final drop to kill her, and he sees her, he recognizes her because she looks like her mother or whatever. And then he has a heart attack.
Despite her not having red hair?
Yeah, I know. But also, when she gives him CPR, it's the slowest.
Oh my God.
It's so like
slow.
He would undoubtedly, whoever it is, would be dead. Like, first of all, she like walks over to him and she like she like moves his arm really slow. Like she positions him. And she's going like super, because she's supposed to be, sorry, I forgot to mention this. She's supposed to be like an EMT. So she like, so she has training to do this. So she should know just how to do this. And like, usually when, I don't know. I mean, like, I'm not saying like I've been in the presence of a person who's had a heart attack, but like usually when people are trained to do something, they rush towards it and they do it really fast.
Yes.
And she just like is moving his arm like really slowly.
Which I think was.
And then she takes his glasses off and like
Oh, I didn't even notice
positions them like
what?
Like yeah, she like takes his glasses off and slowly sets them down, and then she does CPR and she's like 1 push, 2 push, and first of all, the way it's filmed, it's like from this, like from a distance. And so you see her whole body. It's not like cut up to where you just see her hands and then her pushing or whatever. So you don't see how, because like you literally can't push on an actual person's body as hard as you would with CPR, because you do it so hard when you're doing CPR that you oftentimes break ribs. Yeah. You like crack their shit, you know? So I understand that it can't be filmed accurately. However, you don't have to film it from a distance full on. And she's like, it's not just that like the pressure seems so light, but she's also like doing like the movements. It's like 1, 2. I'm like, well, he's dead. He's already dead. Yeah. And then he's like, oh, and she's like, can you hear me? Are you okay?
Do you know who you are?
Yeah, and then she's like, do you know who you are? And he's like, who are you? And she says, like, that's why I asked.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I was like, what are you?
Well, and if the point of her going slowly is to demonstrate like some hesitancy or reluctance to save his life,
right?
Given
right,
that she knows he had her mother killed and whatnot.
Right. Ugh.
That was not communicated that way.
Yeah.
And the fact that later she says to Zero, like, oh, you can't, I guess you can't change your nature.
Yeah.
First of all, nature and training are different things.
Right.
Secondly, as you pointed out, if she was just responding out of her training instinct, her trained instinct,
she would go fast.
It would not have looked like that.
I don't know why, but I don't think anybody rushed. I mean, like, sort of, but like.
Remember how I said call 911 like 5 times before she did?
Yes. But it made me think of like describing how.
Remember that?
Describing how a person.
I actually called 911.
Should respond to an emergency. It made me remember this one time back when I lived in Vegas. I was
Did y'all know that Z used to live in Vegas?
I think it was like the like worst part of the world. I won't say everything that happened on this New Year's that I spent on the Strip, but it was horrible. Like literally,
Is this the time you almost got
yes
trampled and
yes.
crushed, and
I almost got
your friend's
like
purse got
yeah
snatched?
no
or whatever?
mine.
Oh, it
I
was
dropped
yours.
my purse. I lost my friend. The crowd was so because they were like doing something, like they were doing construction, I think, on one of the casinos. So they had like a fence up. So you know how normally like you can just walk freely. So like it was extremely congested and like
Oh, was it
and
like when they're scaffolding over a sidewalk?
yeah, like
Nice.
that. And so it was so like usually like there's a bunch of different ways to like
Yeah.
get off of the walkway on next to a casino, but because it was all boarded up, there wasn't. So there was only like one exit that people could leave. So on New Year's when it's like crowded as fuck, it was like there was no escape. So like once I was like, okay, I'm going to go inside because this is too much. Like people started like rushing towards the street to get, and I wasn't able, and I weighed like 100 pounds and I'm like, so I had like no force. And I dropped my purse. So it was just in a crowd of people. Yeah, it was just like, and the only way I got out was that some stranger just grabbed my hand and ripped me out of the crowd. Literally, I would not have made it otherwise. I was like starting to like, I was just getting pulled deeper into the crowd. It was terrifying. I was like screaming. It was like I was like having an anxiety attack, obviously.
Weird.
Yeah. So I went inside and I was like, I don't know where my friend's at. I don't know where my purse is. I don't have a way to like get like that's my keys are in there. Like I don't have a way to get home. I don't know where my friend is. I don't have a phone because I didn't have a cell phone at the time. I was like, I have nothing. I don't have anything. So I went in the bathroom and I started crying in a bathroom stall and I could hear the fireworks going off for the, New Year's. It was like Happy New Year's. And so I was like crying in the bathroom. So so I then I was in a casino that had a Starbucks. So I went into the Starbucks and lo and behold, my friend showed up. Thank God. And she had my purse. And I was like, oh my God. And she was like, yeah, I found this on the ground. I was like, dude, I fucking was just like in the bathroom crying. And she was like, no, I'm so sorry. So we were standing there and then a dude walks up and starts like literally harassing and is like harassing us and like grabs her breast. And so I hit him.
Oh shit.
I was like, get the fuck out of here. And he was like, you're a dyke. And he started like chanting like dyke. And I was like, okay, cool. I was like, get the fuck away. So then I like looked to the Starbucks guy and I was
He's just like shout out to lesbians.
and he was just like, and so like we'd like gone to that Starbucks a lot. So like we knew the people that like worked there. And I was like, why didn't you do anything? He's like, what do you want me to do? Call security? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, it's New Year's. They're not going to show up. I was like, you can say you called security. Yeah. Like, you can do anything. And he's like, what? What did you want me to do? And I was like, it's literally your place of work. Like, it's your responsibility to make sure that we're not literally getting, like, sexually molested during your shift. So that's happening. Horrible. It was horrible. And then I'm pretty sure it was the same thing. We're just sitting there and we're like, man, this is like literally the fucking worst New Year's I've ever had. And just this woman just walks over into the corner and just like gets down on her knees and then just like throws up. And we were like, what the fuck? And like people rushed over to her. Wow, thanks for rushing over to a woman puking and like, helping her when we're like literally getting like accosted by an abusive dude, but whatever, So like that's what it made me think of is the woman just like walking up and just being like, and she just like was just vomiting everywhere. And we were like, I was like, I'm scared for what is going to happen next. I was like, I don't know. I was like, this is terrifying. Like, I don't remember what happened after that.
What year was that?
I don't
remember.
That
it turned?
It was like 2008 or something, 2009. I don't know. It was a really bad year. But it was 2009. That was just a precursor to something horrible that was going to happen to me. But like, we weren't drinking at all. Like, we didn't drink. Like, it was just, like, totally sober. This was just all the shit. It wasn't like we were going out partying or anything. We literally just wanted to see the fireworks on the Strip. Because it's really cool if you're ever in Vegas on New Year's. It's not, like, a fun... I wouldn't recommend going out, but, like, watching the fireworks on the Strip is really fun because they shoot them off, like, what is it, simultaneously from, like, several different casinos at once. And it's so bright, it literally looks like it's, like, noon. Like, it's so bright. It's so cool. It's a really fun.
The Vegas Strip, notoriously dark at night, but...
No, it's so fucking bright. It literally is, like, bright even...
No, I get it.
Anyway, so that's what it made me think of because someone threw up and people just rushed over to help her immediately.
Yeah.
That's what I'm like, yeah. You know, like right now, the cops are coming.
I called them on you. Right to jail. But let me just say, don't have a heart attack in
planetarium.
In OMSI in Portland. All right? Don't in the observatory.
Yeah. Oh,
Thanks a lot, Mark.
I took so many, right? Oh my God. I took so many notes and like I don't think I've mentioned any of them.
Hang on. Sorry for all the background noise. There's chickens, turkeys, pheasants, game hens. I've got a pet
Velociraptor.
Komodo dragon that makes a lot of noise. It also plays bass, so sorry about that.
My impression of a Komodo dragon. That's Keith doing the tricorder sound from Voyager, I think specifically.
It's all the time on Voyager.
Yeah.
It happens later in...
Do it again. I love it. It's Keith's way to like slay me. He knows it's gonna work. So when when we first meet Daryl Zero and like Ben Stiller like goes into his like heavily fortified building, which doesn't make any sense, but whatever. I swear to God, he punches in a code at first, like, because he walks in, and it's just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's just like boop 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 boop. It's like, and then it's just after that, it's just like a random string of numbers, I think. But like at first, it's literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So for whatever reason, I don't know why they have a bunch of like a lot of time is spent at the gym. Because he's like because Ryan O'Neal's the client, but Ryan O'Neal doesn't know. He doesn't meet. Like, he actually meets Daryl Zero, but he doesn't know that he's meeting because he pretends to be someone else.
He meets Nick Carmichael.
Yeah. So he goes to the gym, and that's where he meets the girl that's blackmailing him, and he figures it out right away, but he doesn't want to say anything because he wants to figure out why, because he feels like there's a bunch of stuff that's not being clarified, and I think he like senses that the guy's being dishonest about why he's being blackmailed, so he wants to figure out why he's being blackmailed before he turns in the person that's doing it, just in case. Plus he thinks that the girl's like hot or whatever. Spoiler, they bone. Or something. But at the gym...
They fake having sex at least 20 times.
So every time they show the gym, they're showing someone else on a piece of equipment. And let me tell you something. No one is doing it right. The way Ryan O'Neal is running, it literally looks like both of his like fucking ankles have been broken multiple times. Like, he's literally running like it hurts him to move, which is fine. Like, if that's the case, that's fine.
You've
but like,
been to a gym, you know that this is there. I'm sure that's what I look like too.
No, it's like there's just something like it literally looks
My
like.
favorite is when
And then when Bill Pullman's on the bike and it's just like he literally like yeah, he's just like it's so ridiculous.
Is it
but
on?
also everyone's posture is wrong. Like
No,
they're
when-
all like bent over really, really
Yeah,
like
when Kim Dickens is
drastically.
on the
Yes, when she's on
Stairmaster.
the Stairmaster, she's literally hunched over on the Stairmaster, and I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And she's like looking at him while she's hunched over on the Stairmaster. I'm like, "This isn't a cute look." Like, I would be like, "Hey, maybe you shouldn't use that if it hurts your back that much." Like everyone literally looks like, and their motions like it's not saying like people can't be in pain or something like that. Like I'm not like or like that you know.
Being ableist.
Right, yeah. I sound like I'm being ableist, but what I mean is like if it was really hurting you like that, you wouldn't / shouldn't be doing it.
I don't know, man.
You should if you're like
I've seen things at gyms.
yeah, no, gyms are wild. I don't miss going to gyms. I don't know how people are like during a pandemic, like I gotta get my gym time in. I'm like, man, if ever there was a time.
I kind of miss it now that I'm trying to be more
man.
active. But
See, here's the thing.
I don't
I
I don't miss the experience of going to the gym.
No.
I miss the equipment.
That's what I'm saying. I want to live in a house or something that I have like a room that I can like
Right.
have like a bike I'm on, like a
Yeah.
and that's it. You
Yeah.
know, that's what I want. But I going to the gym was so hard.
Yes.
I did not handle it very well at all. I
Yeah.
often had like really bad, like sometimes anxiety attacks, sometimes meltdowns. Like I could not do. I eventually had to stop because it literally. I was like, this is not something I
I
can
mostly
do.
just like undressing in front of strangers.
with
Or in my case, people that I know personally or people that I knew just as customers from my work at the time.
my favorite part. I may have even talked about this on the podcast before. I don't care if I have. Was when my car broke down, and you were. I mean, like this. I don't even think we'd been together a full year, and you like full on rode your bike to where I was to make sure that I was okay because my car broke down in the middle of the street. So.
And a fairly big one.
Yeah, it was like, and like right in front of like a fucking like traffic light. But my car.
Also, your ex's place
yes,
of employment?
also where my ex worked, like where my ex was currently working at the time. I was like, cool. I love this. So it was like a whole like anxiety inducing.
And then
thing.
there were lots of helpful men.
Oh yes,
white
and
men.
every single so what happened was my car like what is it the shit what's it called the thing that helps what was it the first thing that went
I don't know what you're trying to describe.
in my car
So, I'm sorry.
the thing that like
The starter?
no not the starter the thing that like helps the battery
The generator.
no
Helps the battery.
I don't know what it's
Helps the battery do what?
stay charged.
The generator.
Mm-mm.
Then
That's
what?
not what it's called. I don't know what it's called. I'm trying to remember. It's like it controls it's like a little thing that controls a bunch of things in the car. It makes everything
Computer.
well, sort of, but it's like I don't know what it's called. Oh, pause it for a second. This is painful. Alternator.
Alternator.
So my alternator went for shit. But what happened was my stick shift froze. And like I couldn't so it was like
The car was dead and you
it was
couldn't put
in
it
park.
in neutral.
Yeah. It was in park. My car was dead. And they were like, "Oh, yeah." They're like, "Just
Just put it
put
in
it." Everyone pulled over. Every single male pulled over and said, "Oh, put the car in neutral and we can push it." And I said, "Yeah, I can't get it to not be in park." I was like, "It's not working." And they literally were like, oh, I don't know how to help you then. And I'm like, cool. One, I didn't ask for it. Two, yeah, I know. Like, this is the problem. This is why so many people. And, like, literally, dudes would just stop and jump out of their car and they're like, her, can you put it in neutral? Like no one, they would literally be like 10 people and, like, a new dude would, like, hop out of their car and be like, oh, can you put it in neutral? And I'd be like, oh my God, there are 10 people here trying to fuck with my car. Why do you think you're the genius? I swear to God, it's like men. But anyway, so finally someone was able, like there was one dude that was like, there should be a button that helps you like push it. And I was like, I don't have a button. And they looked at my car and they were like, oh, you don't have a button. But they like got in the car and they were like, they messed around and they were able to like, because there's like where the button should be, there's just a hole. I got a used car, whatever. But he was able to like stick his finger in there and figure out, and he worked on it for like several minutes and got it to get in neutral. He was the only person that was helpful at all. And he was like really nice, and he was
this a stranger or the
yes, this was just a stranger.
Truck?
This was just a stranger. So he was able to get it in neutral, and so we moved it up into, like the parking lot, and that's when that's about the time that you rode
just
up on your
time.
bike. No, it was great, and I was like, oh, because there were so many men there to help me, and I was like, thank fucking God, someone. I know that you're not like,
and
a
I roll
man,
up there
but
like fucking Odysseus,
you're
slaying
like
all the suitors.
You were in there with your like loud, like bright colored pants, and you're like, I think you had you had like a handkerchief around your neck, and you're like, you're like, hey girls, what's up? And you just like literally like hopped off your bike so like delicately, and you were like, hi, and then I hugged you, and like literally I could see every male there just like like deep sigh and be like, okay, well, fine then, I'm leaving. And they literally all just like hopped in their cars and rode off because my colorful, flowery boyfriend sped up on his little bicycle. So anyway, the tow truck guy got there, and he was like, it's like, so Keith rode his bike back to his place. And I rode with the tow truck guy to the mechanics. And on our way there, like, the tow truck guy was like, your boyfriend looks really familiar. Do you know, like, he's like, I feel like I know him from somewhere. And he's like, where does he work? So I told him where he worked. And he was like, I don't know. He was like, oh, does he go to this gym? So, like, that gym is, like, located, like, literally next door to where Keith worked at the time. And I was like, oh, yeah, he does. And he goes, yeah, he wears short shorts. And I was like, yeah, he does. Oh, yeah, he does. He was like, yeah. And it was so beautiful because he was just like, his face, he was just like, yeah, he wears really short shorts. I was like, you bothered by that, buddy? Anyway, like, it was so, like, calm down. Your masculinity is intact just because you've seen, you know, the cute little thighs of another dude. Like,
my husband's bulge. Yeah. Those shorts were quite a scandal here. Because when I first moved here, I would jog occasionally before I had a gym membership.
Yeah.
I would jog, and I ended up coming to this park, actually.
Oh, nice.
And one time there were some kids that I would have guessed were like junior high age hanging out on the swings. And they said something to me about my shorts being too small or too tight and that I look like Napoleon Dynamite or something.
And you said, stop it. But yeah, that's my favorite. I don't know why I told that story, but that's my favorite.
Because of the gym?
Oh yeah, that's what it is. Also, Bill Pullman has barely aged. Like, he's in this movie, and it does not look like it's been like over 20 years. His face doesn't look like it's been that long.
Well, now it's covered with beard.
Well, that's fair. But also, still, what isn't covered in beard?
Fair enough.
It's also wild how, like, literally didn't give a shit about. I mean, I know I said this before, but like, I did not give a shit about Bill Pullman until he's getting stepped on in the center, and I'm like, hello, hello, Mr. Pullman.
Yeah, we get it. You're dumb.
I didn't say that. I just said I really enjoy watching men get enjoyment from being belittled and stepped on. If that's a sexual fetish, I've never heard of it before.
Okay, Gene Belcher. Never heard of a boob fetish before.
Oh my god! Also, he's at the gym and he like goes through the guy's stuff and he's like, I found an email that he printed out, and I'm like, so accurate for like. That was like, first of all, it was like all anyone did. I feel like all anyone did in the 90s was print out email. Like, I need a copy of this, so I'm gonna print this out so I can have access to this email whenever I want.
MapQuest maps.
I don't know, just like the way he like, I know it's like, first of all, that's something that like anybody that's like over 50, that's how they respond to emails, is they like, I printed it out and then I wrote a response and then I scanned it in and then I emailed it. Like it used to drive me fucking nuts because when I worked in a corporate type environment, and you can edit PDFs. Like you can edit them.
Don't
easily,
let that secret get out.
Very easily. And like everybody over the age of 50 would print everything out and then like make like illegible notes on them and be like, I don't know how to get this back in the same way. And I'm like, why didn't you just make a note on it, like so that people could actually read it? And they'd be like, I scanned it back in. And I'm like, then it oh my god, literally all the fucking time. And I'm like, it's so easy to just make a note on a PDF.
Yeah,
like
you don't even have to have a special software to make comments on the thing.
It was so painful. And here's the thing though, we had all that special software because it was a business, and so it, like we had and so it was like really easy to like do anything that you needed to do, like transfer thing, like you could transfer things from like Word to PDF, like we could do all the fancy shit. Not that it's that, like half the time it's like all you have to do is just like right click on something to figure out how to do it, like, and they would just be like, no. I printed it out and then I made this tiny little note on the very last page of these 25 pages, and then I'm going to scan it back in. And I'm like, oh my God. Why? So I saw, like, he printed out this email, and I was like, yep. Accurate. Anyway. Oh my God. Also, when I was watching this last night, I just realized this. For whatever reason, I can't remember which scene it was that happened. I think when he was like in her apartment, and like every time I think about her apartment, what did it look like? I'm like, yeah, I got a craving for a powdered jelly donut.
Wild.
I know. I'm like, oh, I want a powdered jelly donut so bad. And I was like, what the fuck? Why do I want that? I was like, where did that come from? And then like thinking
Sweet
about
November.
thinking about her apartment now, I was like, oh my God, yeah, powdered jelly donut. Yeah. Oh. Because my dad used to buy those.
Oh, really?
For me, yeah. I know.
Really?
Mm. I don't know if I could eat one and be okay.
Yeah. Donuts are like one of the few things that I just out of the blue get a craving for. I don't eat sweets very much.
Yeah.
I don't dislike them, but it's not like a craving I get.
Yeah. Well,
fucking donuts.
Donuts are the only thing that have, like, because donuts have eggs in them, but it's like they don't have, like, unless they're like an old fashioned donut or like a cake donut, they don't have like a lot of egg in them. It's still enough to make me not feel good, but it's not really enough to like really, really hurt me. But they're the only thing with egg in them that I will say fuck it.
Take one for the team.
Yeah. I will.
It's worth the diarrhea.
It is worth it.
It's worth the shit cramps.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't done it in like 3 years, so clearly it's not. But yeah, donuts are like the one time that I'm like, I can live with the pain.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, I will. Especially if it's just, I know that like people hear this and they think I'm disgusting, but just like a plain glazed donut, that's my favorite donut.
Ew.
Or one with or this is like really stupid, but like, and this again,
No, you
this,
fucking love sprinkles though.
I was gonna say, this is again,
cinnamon.
you hate, no, ew, I don't want cinnamon.
Sprinkles with cinnamon.
you hate this because you hate sprinkles,
Yeah.
but I like a plain glazed donut, like will never be wrong. Just, and I don't mean a cake donut. I never want to eat a cake donut. I don't like them. Because they're I think they use more eggs because like to give the cakey texture, so they just make me feel disgusting and sick immediately. But just like a plain glazed donut or a plain glazed donut with sprinkles, one or two. Also, I have to say this. I have to say this because so we discussed the film, and she, like, you said something about Ryan O'Neal, like he recognized her even though she didn't have red hair, but we didn't say that it's like a plot point somehow that she had, like, he has a fetish for red-haired women, which,
well,
like,
and it seemingly is because of Claire, whom he has killed. Clarissa? Whoops.
Or something?
Yes, it's Clarissa. You're right.
Clarissa.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, how do you pronounce the word Towards?
Towards?
And things that have wings and fly in the sky, what are those called?
You mean birds?
That's right, they don't rhyme.
What are you talking about?
Never mind. Oh, the other thing was, why did you kill Clarissa?
But yeah.
Who
so
is
like, right,
Kim
but
Dickens'
she says,
mom.
but she says, she points to like the waitress, like they're at a diner and there's a waitress, and she points to the waitress who has red hair, and she's like, I wanted to look like that because that's how my mother looked, and she says, my natural mother.
Oh yeah, right.
So okay, there's this. Sorry.
Rather than saying birth mother.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
but
because right.
There's this, like, I love this line so much. There's this line in Bob's Burgers where Linda's sister is being described by someone, and they call her an amateur brunette mature, which kills me. It fucking kills
Dr.
me.
Yep.
Yeah, Dr.
What was that
amateur brunette mature. So I wrote down amateur natural mother redhead mature.
Mother.
Amateur natural mother redhead mature.
I've 100% searched that at some point.
Not mom, not aunt, and not daughter. Also, they have a sex scene that I quote unquote sex scene. I don't know that where what is it? What is it? Nick Cage.
Oh, Nick Cave.
Nick Cave is. I'm not Nick Cage.
This movie is not in the MCU.
Nick Cave is playing, and it's very, like, at first I was okay with it because, like, at first when they're leaving the
just
not. Well, no. I don't mean the song. I like the love scene at first. Like when the love scene starts out, there's no music, because like it's weird because like they're leaving the diner and the music starts, and then it cuts away suddenly, and they're just like kind of making out.
Right.
And I thought it was kind of sweet because like it's very implied that he is not comfortable with like people or touching people, and they're like, and
possibly a virgin.
Yeah. But I felt like at first I was like, oh, this is kind of sweet because they're just like touching each other a lot, and it seemed like it was just like there was a lot of intimacy involved, but they were both clothed and like they were undressing each other, but they weren't even naked. They were just like unbuttoning each other's clothes and just like putting their hands on each other, and I was like, oh, this is kind of sweet. And then of course it cuts to them like being on top of each other and more Nick Cave playing. And it was so. Do you remember in The Watchmen when they have that horrible?
Oh, I just know that this is your favorite
Leonard Cohen.
This is why I said. I don't know if you heard me because I was in the bathroom when I said it. I said it's basically Hallelujah.
Yeah, it's literally that song. Oh God, it's the worst sex scene in the whole world because it's like, okay, first of all, sex scenes. I mean, it's not as bad as that. There's 2 sex scenes that I would say are worse than the one in this one, and it is the one from 300.
Never seen it.
Don't. It's fine. Don't. It's whatever.
I won't.
Where it's just literally like doggy style in slow motion. It's just like a bunch of slow motion, like different positions in slow motion. I watched this on a date that I didn't know was a date. So that was even worse. And I was like in the theater with someone that I was like not attracted to whatsoever. And like around the time I was discovering that I was like a queer person and like not sure what to do with those feelings and, you know, and sitting next to someone that I was like not attracted to at all. And there's like a really long drawn out slow motion sex scene. So that one's terrible. And then they do the same thing with slow-mo in The Watchmen while Leonard Cohen is playing, which is even worse. Don't play Leonard Cohen during a sex scene. Don't do sex scenes
unless
in slow-mo.
it's Jazz Police or something.
I don't really like sex scenes in movies.
Yeah, never.
I don't know.
Like, why bother at this point?
Right. I always feel weird because it's always like, I don't know. Like I'm fine, I guess, with like, I don't know. It's always like, it's very difficult to see a sex scene in a movie and be like, okay, I see it. And I'm like, these are all the things I don't like that's happening.
Right.
Like I just, and this one was mostly, it was like okay because like they do a lot of like fade ins and like double exposure fade ins and stuff. But I was like,
and stuff.
what is happening? Yeah. I couldn't tell I was like, it seems like they're just lie down kissing.
Yep.
And it was awkward. Anyway.
Oh, I wanted to mention the cinematographer or director of photography on this movie is Bill Pope. What?
What?
You got close to the mic like you were going to say something.
I didn't know if I needed to.
Who has also did cinematography on the Matrix films.
Oh,
as well as Bound.
Oh.
And some Sam Raimi movies, like Army of Darkness and Spider-Man 2.
Supposedly, he's the only reason that... Right? Isn't it him?
Yeah, that's why I looked him up. Is because,
the only reason this movie had any semblance of cohesion, supposedly. Which I believe.
Yeah. My only other comment I wanted to make is that there are...
4 lights.
Yeah. That's it. That's all I had to say. Thanks.
Okay. Sorry.
I'm going to go pout. There are some genuinely moments that made me laugh.
Oh, yeah.
But then there's a lot of bits that I felt like really fell flat. Like, for whatever reason, seemed like they were expected to be funnier than they are. Like, there's the scene where they're in the airport. Pullman is in disguise and passes Ben Stiller and says, go here and on the payphone. And so they're talking on the payphones
to each other.
To each other.
In the same airport.
Yeah, and then it zooms out and they're in the same bank of payphones. But, like, I saw that coming. Like, that felt pretty obvious to me that. So, like, it wasn't a reveal.
For me, the reveal was less that I thought they were sitting right next to each other. Uh-huh. So I thought the reveal was that they weren't even like close to each other, but like not far enough away for it to seem unsuspicious. Like the joke to me was that like Bill Pullman's like, oh, we have to not be close to each other.
2 guys talking in the airport. Kind of fishy. Like that was funny.
Yeah.
But the setup of the
But what I'm saying is, like, I don't necessarily think that it was like, oh, they're actually really close. I thought it was like, oh, they're actually a lot further apart.
Oh, okay.
But it's then, because I thought they were, because I don't know. I always assume when they show stuff like that they're like right next to each other.
See, but I thought it was, yeah, anyway.
Yeah, no, there was stuff. Also, like, I mean, watching this, I mean, like, shockingly. Oh, what?
No, go ahead.
Okay. I thought you were like, wait, before you get into something.
No.
Shockingly, the more I've been learning about autism, the more I'm like, oh, this character is autistic coded. Like,
Oh yeah.
very heavily autistic coded. Like he eats like the same thing, like but all these things that like
Tuna and tab
oh my god, that's all he
and
eats.
meth.
Yeah. Right. And like, yeah, like there's all this stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, he doesn't like oh my god, the part though where he
I mean, that tracks with
literally
Holmes, right?
yeah. Well, I don't know. I've never read any of the books, so I don't know how like he actually is in the books. But when he just literally describes masking,
Oh yeah.
he's like,
As part of the
blending in
method.
is easy. All you have to do is go into a room and try to see how normal people act and then act
one of
like
them.
them. And I was like, oh my god, literally.
Right.
He was like, it's really easy. All you do is just like analyze the behavior of everyone, and the most normal acting person is the one that you try to act the most like. And I was like, called out.
Absolutely vital. The ability to blend in, to very discreetly assimilate. It's not usually very difficult. All you have to do is look around, see how all the ordinary people around you are behaving, and try to behave like one of them.
I was like, oh, I've never seen that described in a movie before. Anyway, that was really funny to me.
Monkey see, monkey do.
But also I liked how he was just like, yeah, it's pretty normal. You just act like how other people are acting.
Yeah.
Doy.
Just
Anyway.
look at a normal person and then do that.
I felt so fucking called out. I was like, that's mean.
I'm like, how do you know? That's not easy.
I know.
How do I know which one's normal?
I know, right? Oh man.
The other actual bit of trivia is that there was a pilot shot
Yes.
never picked up, starring one Alan Cumming as
Hubba
Daryl
hubba.
Zero.
Ugh,
We watched what,
I don't know,
15 minutes of it or something?
maybe if that. It's very
It
difficult.
was a little rough.
It was rough. It wasn't.
Cumming is great.
Oh yeah,
I love Cumming.
I fucking love Alan Cumming so fucking much. I love him. He's like someone that was like early, because he was in Cabaret, like the Broadway Cabaret.
Oh, okay.
And so, I used to watch the Rosie O'Donnell show a lot. I know. And she loves Broadway, so she would have a lot of Broadway performances. I know. And he did something from Cabaret, and I was like very young, and he was like wearing makeup, and I was like, so it was like a very, and he's a queer person. He's like actually queer, and like a dude wearing makeup. So like he made a huge impression on baby queer closeted Z. I was like, oh, it's safe to like this person because they're a boy. But something's different about I was like, oh, I was very much.
As another former friend said to me, I think we were talking about like Duran Duran or something.
Uh-huh.
And she was like, yeah, I used to really like boys who like girls. Turned out I just like girls.
Right? I used to get accused. Like, I used to find, like, all the crushes I had on boys, quote unquote, were always, like, really long-haired, effeminate boys that people would be like, they look like a girl. And I'd be like, stop. And they'd be like, do you like girls? I'd be like, what? Huh? No. And turns out, yes. It was like, so many people were like, all the boys you like look like girls. And I'd be like, I was just like, that's weird that you would say that. It was totally because they look
Sorry, I
like
cut
girls.
my hair.
No, it's cute. You look like a girl in other ways.
No, wubba wubba. So that's Zero Effect. Written and directed by Jake Kasdan.
Oh, he wrote it? Oh, yeah, he did write it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about Sherlock Holmes. Oh, before the there's a kind of a bit, a recurring bit about like what they call the cases. And the names are kind of silly.
Yeah.
But it's like, hey, remember the case of the guy who farted and it smelled like cheese?
Yeah.
What the first one is like the guy with the mismatched shoelaces or something.
Yeah.
But some of them are really lengthy and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this reminds me of Get Smart.
Yeah. I wouldn't know.
Well, you should learn your history.
That's fair. I don't know much about history. Don't
about
know
biology?
much about
The Get Smart film starring Steve Carell.
Never seen it.
Horrible.
Never seen it.
Really disappointed.
Yeah.
As a fan of both Steve
Weird.
Carell and Get Smart.
Weird, yeah. I feel like things like that get remade, not good. Like,
No.
remember how we tried to watch The Avengers?
Charlie's Angels, though. Oh,
Charlie's
yeah.
Angels was good. Like,
We didn't even finish.
we couldn't finish. I mean, for two reasons. One, because I got so overly stoned that I freaked the fuck out.
Oh, shit. It was that
It was that night.
Oh, no. That probably did not help.
That did
things.
not help. But I was like, I like felt it coming, and I was like, I need to like close my eyes and fall asleep before it gets too bad. I did not succeed at that. But yeah, I could not finish it. But also because I was so fucking bored. I was like, I don't know how to.
No.
I do not know. And I was like,
Also, The Saint. Which
that
we
was
both said. Do you remember?
Yes, I wrote it down. I was like, what is this movie? The Saint? Because he has
his disguises.
His disguises are ridiculous. And in The Saint, like his disguises are just ridiculous and not very good. And it was hilarious to me that that movie was so I feel like with The Saint, like it's a movie that like has like some semblance of a plot until like at least a third of the way through, maybe halfway through, and then it just like ceases, and then it just doesn't make any sense, and then it's all junk science that makes no sense, just repeated over and over and over and over and over.
Junk science is throughout.
Well, yes, but I mean, like that's all it is. It's just like they just keep repeating junk science stuff, and it's just like the same. I'm like, what? It was so difficult. It felt like a 5-hour movie, and it was only like 2.5 to 3 hours.
I feel like there were a bunch of those in the late 90s, early aughts, right?
What?
Well, remakes of like
60s
spy craft, gadgety, mostly British shows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was really excited
50s
about.
And 60s.
I was really excited.
Because wasn't there like a Phantom?
Yeah, but I think that was like earlier 90s.
Okay.
Okay. The Rocketeer, I think.
Oh yeah, The Rocketeer. Starring Jennifer Connelly.
Mm-hmm. And Billy Campbell, I think. Who plays the magnificent Okona?
What?
In the TNG episode where he's like the swashbuckling guy that comes on and just like hooks up with Terry Hatcher and everyone else on the ship. And they're like, oh, this guy impregnated my daughter, and he didn't. And surprise, he didn't. Whatever. It's not a great episode. It's kind of like, whew. And also, he has like a fake ponytail, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's that thing where I'm like, why did he have to have, why?
Yeah.
Only guys that.
Wait, did you say Billy Connolly?
Yeah, I did, but that's not it. No, I said Billy Campbell. Okay. Maybe I said Connolly.
Maybe I heard Connolly.
Maybe I said it.
Because I said Jennifer Connelly.
Oh, that's what it is. Billy Campbell. Yeah.
Bruce Campbell?
Whose name I only remember because I saw like reference to it last night. But in something else that I didn't watch. Nothing. It was like a movie that I was.
Whose name?
Billy Campbell. I saw his name on one of the movies that I decided not to watch in lieu of watching She's All That.
That's right. You did do that.
That was a lot of fun. Just because I was so stoned.
Yeah, you were laughing a lot.
This is not good.
Meanwhile, I was deep into. I'd had some martinis, and I was listening to the Young Fathers.
Oh, yeah. Really good.
As well as some trippy ass synth music.
Yeah. I was just dying because like she's all that. It doesn't even have a plot.
I was here playing
really.
my post-apocalyptic video game, like driving through the wasteland, and like I was in a space, and you're shaking the bed next to me.
The fucking
Because Matthew Lillard did some shit.
oh man, Matthew Lillard. Matthew Lillard is the only reason to watch that movie. And
That's not enough for me.
Most movies that Matthew Lillard is in, he's the reason to watch them.
Take that, the
13.
Scream.
Oh, he was in 13 Ghosts.
Oh, he was?
Yeah, he's like the psychic medium or whatever. That's all like sensitive. I fucking love Matthew Lillard. Anyway, that's it for Zero Effect.
And since you made a definitive ending, I gotta add more.
Oh, yeah, I know. I was just saying I was through. I was opening you up.
Well,
Oh, sorry.
I just want to. This is nitpicky, but like,
Yes, please.
I always remember it being called the Zero Effect. It's not. It's just called Zero Effect.
Uh-huh.
Which then I'm like, oh, is that a pun? Because it's like, there's no effect.
Maybe.
It's not effective.
Right.
And then, one of the through lines of the film is him narrating his method.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He's writing it.
Uh-huh.
But then the last line in the movie, he calls it the Zero Effect. Like, that's the last line of the movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you've been calling it a method
Yeah.
the rest of the film. Why is it suddenly an effect?
Because that's what the movie's called. And they had to. Also, when he asks her about being an EMT, because he guesses that she's an EMT, and then they have that whole conversation, he asks her why she's an EMT, and she says, like...
Oh, God.
She says something. I don't remember what she said.
She's clearly not a good EMT.
No, 100%. But she was like, that moment when you revive their body? And I was like, what? What are they, brain
rushing
dead?
into stuff. She says the
like,
language
yeah.
of her describing her job and what she likes about it is
Also,
not convincing.
I wrote down, and just mind you, I was not stoned at all at this point of the night. I said he signs his notes Z, which is great.
It's great.
I think I was excited because that's how I sign my notes too, obviously.
Or anything.
Yeah,
isn't a
that's
legal
how
document.
I sign things. that's how I sign everything. So it was like Z, and I was like, ah. And then I'm like, why do I feel special at this? This is so stupid. Like, oh my god, it's just like me. And I'm like, no. First of all, this is not actually Bill Pullman. How Bill Pullman says his name. This is not what. I was just like, what? Right. This isn't some special nod to me via Bill Pullman. Why am I? Oh. He knows my name.
He knows my name. He knows my number 2.
Oh. See ya.
Is the Wi-Fi down? Fucking A.
You
anyway.
keep asking that. I don't know.
It appears to be down for me anyway.
Okay.
But not entirely clear. I don't remember the name. I was going to look it up. But whoever did the score for the movie was like somebody that Jake Kasdan asked to do it. They were like a band he liked or something or knew.
Yeah. Hold on.
But I just wanted to say I really liked it. It really fit.
The Gray Boy All Stars.
There we go. Horrible name, if I'm honest.
I
but
don't understand.
I really liked the score. It was funky at times. It was just right for like a, caper or like a mystery solving thing.
It didn't.
However, anytime a pop song was played, anything with lyrics was played, not a good fit. Also, I remember thinking like in the first quarter of the movie, like all the music cues were really abrupt.
Yeah.
It was kind of jarring for me.
I don't remember.
Not that I have any symptoms of autism or anything.
No one does.
Symptoms? Is that even the right?
I don't know what the
effects. Methods.
Methods.
Okay, that's all I got.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening and watching
And smelling.
and hearing. Not just listening, but hearing. Sorry that it's not better by now.
So let's leave it alone, 'cause we can't see eye to eye. There ain't no good guys, there ain't no bad guys. There's only you and me, and we just disagree.